This is the story of the super force of space explorers.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to a special edition of Seven Kinds of Mischief. I am your host, Stone Loki, and with me today is, of course, the Clobberer himself, Clobberin Times!
Hey, buddy. Great to be here, man. Hey, old chat. What a great chat you got out there, man.
Indeed. Good evening, Humor and Waffles. Kal-El 48. Good evening, the Mad Doctor of Disaster and Destruction, Adega Outlaw. Good evening.
Hey.
And he says, Hail Lanterns. Good evening, my good friend, Mark the Infinitely Tired. How are you doing, brother? Good evening. The lady Mist, Guardian of the Void. Thank you so very much for being here, ladies. Mist Apollome's Minion. Good evening, Apollomy. Good evening. So good to see all you. Brandon's Looney Tunes Fan 2000. Good evening, Brandon. How are you doing? Good evening, everybody. I hope you guys are doing great. Real Wade Nation. Good evening. Good evening, Mark Clobberin. Yeah.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to talk about Green Lantern's First Flight. And what a movie, dude. I watched this last week in preparation. I think it was the weekend in preparation for our stream last weekend, which we didn't do. That was my fault. And of course, today I was running by the seat of my pants most of the day. And barely made it. Clobby came in with like a minute to spare. I was like, everything all right, dude? I'm like, yes, it's just been a crazy ass day. But I got to watch it again. I got to watch it again today. So I got to watch it last week. I got to watch it again.
Same here. Last weekend today. Yeah.
I'm going to watch this again too.
Really?
I am, because I love this movie. I love Hal. Hal's the shit. And it's not like Hal's on my B team. It's just I never have the opportunity to read his stuff. So every time I get to see like this beginning for Hal when he gets the ring,
Right.
I love it. Me and you were talking about that when we watched the Justice League movie last time, New Frontier, and how I love it when Hal gets the ring. I absolutely I love it when Hal gets the ring. I love it the first time, he gets it and what it means and his journey of getting the ring. I absolutely love that story. I do. It's never going to get old.
Oh, that story, that basic on the kernel of the story, I agree with you. However, I got to tell you, I don't love this movie much.
Really?
There's too many things that aggravate me that I remember back when I first saw it. And this was 09, before the damage of the Screw 52. Don't get me wrong, I still can enjoy it a little bit, but there's so many things in there. You know me, I want things the way I want them. I don't like changes unnecessary. I don't like redesigns for no reason. And some of the dialogue is really sketchy in this thing. Overall, by the way, if you don't have my hangups, I highly recommend it if you just want to be introduced to Green Lantern. And you don't, because they've changed him up so much all the time. Anyway, what's one more? But it's so full of things that make me want to punch Bruce Timm in the face. And Alan Burnett, he's a great writer for the animated series and the animated movies. I don't understand why it's like they went to sleep and didn't even care about anything that went before the Green Lantern's legacy. And it really aggravates me so much. And
give us something. Give us something they changed. Give us something they changed. That the worst thing.
The costume.
Okay.
I don't like. I think it's too armory, patty or shoulder patty. Not too big on the guy doing Green Lantern's voice. I'm glad later it was Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Let's see here. The Guardians talk like little. I mean, the dialogue's terrible for the Guardians. They talk like little people. But let's see here. First of all, they have no sense of any kind of continuity. Arissa's there all of a sudden before Hal Jordan. Why? I don't understand. They have characters that are there before Hal Jordan, which makes no sense. I don't like what they did to Abin Sur, where they totally discarded his origin of why. Granted, it was adapted a little bit from in other words, Abin Sur's old origin was simply that he showed up on Earth and we don't know why, but we knew he was injured, and he gave the ring to Hal Jordan,
yes,
bequeathed to Hal Jordan. And that was it until in the mid 80s, Alan Moore wrote a story that told you it filled into why he was injured in the first place and why he was, and it was later adapted and incorporated into later versions of the origin. Could it be a magic Chinese lamp with Dickless as the sidekick? No, he's sort of thinking of the Golden Age one.
But the ring picks the lantern, though. That's a big thing. The ring, yeah.
And originally, in the original origin, it picked Guy Gardner. Then he got injured and had to pick Hal Jordan. But that again was shoved in later after originally just seeing Hal Jordan. But Abin Sur's origin was kind of the Alan Moore one was adopted. Well, in this, they totally just changed it, gave it a really less. For me, a very much less credible reason for him to be, end up on Earth the way he did. Again, a minor thing for sure. Still, the movie's still entertaining, but they had other stuff too that I hated. Like, you killed Tomar Ree. What in the hell's? Why would you kill Tomar? That is so bad. Again, there are other quibbles, but for the most part, if I shut some of the stuff down. I can mostly enjoy this thing, but it's very much like Cliff Notes. It's like they didn't even bother giving much more time to his, using bits of his legitimate origin. They just slapped a bunch of stuff together, and he just, I don't know. I do like the way Hal is portrayed in the thing, though. At least Hal is still Hal Jordan. That's the best thing about the movie for me.
Is that Hal's still Hal?
He's still Fearless Hal.
I always find it interesting when they bring Sinestro in as a Green Lantern. Because I always knew him as what he was. And it was like, for me, it's always like, wow, okay, so he's like a good guy, but he's not a good guy, and he's on the edge, and he's like, we need to do more like this. Even in the crappy DC movie, it's like this guy's gonna turn evil, and Hal's gonna have to.
Yeah. Yes, and the thing is, they don't have a whole lot of time to explain that. But yes, I think Victor Garber does a fantastic job as Sinestro. Again, it's like they just said, look, we've got an hour and some change to tell this story. We're gonna have to just chop out all of the nuance to Sinestro's origin and just tell it in a few seconds. I don't know why Abin Sur's face has to be. These are fanboy things here. Why they had to totally redesign his face. Kanjuro Row looks weird. All these other characters and in later DC movies, they went back to looking normal. I mean, I don't understand what they were doing here. They just changed stuff just to screw around with them. There's no continuity in these DC animated movies, even the good ones. And this is a good one. I like it. But there are things they put in there that they just
that aggravate the piss out of you.
Yeah, I want them the way I want them. You know how it is. And I think with animation, they have less excuse to make changes.
But they did make some changes.
They always do, but in this one, I like the stuff with the weaponers. They looked a little weird, but it was kind of cool. They went to Quard. They did a lot of that stuff. Totally left out anything to do with Parallax with the yellow element, stuff like that. It was like Cliff Notes.
So just in case somebody out there doesn't know, because I know some people out there are probably thinking we're speaking in Greek. Tell us a little bit about Parallax's relationship with the Yellow Lantern.
Well, again, it's in the lore, but it's sort of retconned into the lore. Things, different writers add different things to the lore over 40, 50 years. Parallax, which I hated, by the way, originally. Did they do Parallax correctly? Mark says Parallax is not in this.
No, Parallax isn't in this movie.
He's sort of in the stupid movie. Although they don't look like him. But basically, he was, although we didn't know that at first until Jeff Johns, say what you want about Jeff Johns, he could write some good comics. In the original origin, Parallax was this strange entity, the yellow element of the entity that possesses Hal Jordan and turns him into Parallax. So in other words, we don't know it. We just think he turns evil and turns into Parallax. And then that was 0 Hour, which I hated with a passion, early 90s, where Hal Jordan was turned evil. And he destroyed the whole Green Lantern Corps just because DC editor idiots wanted to make one. I hate Kyle Rayner for a lot of reasons. This is another one. They only wanted there to be one Green Lantern, and they wanted it to be Kyle Rayner.
You got to wonder why.
Because they're idiots. They thought, well, first was such a wonderful concept. The whole fact that there are zillions of Green Lanterns, that they're police force or the Galactic.
Well, they even talk about that in this movie. Hal makes a joke about, so it's like one cop precinct.
Yeah, they're cops. They are cops. Yeah, but these jackasses, when they created Kyle Rayner, they wanted to make him. They just thought it would be some. And I'm not. I can name some names at DC, but I mean, I'm not sure exactly who pulled the trigger. Decided. We'll make Hal Jordan evil. He'll wipe out the Green Lantern Corps. Then we'll have one Green Lantern, and we'll make it this little this jackass Kyle Rayner, whom I hate for a lot of reasons. And then I because of Xerox Hour, by the way, I left DC for about 12 years. As I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't buy any of their mainline comics for about 12 years or so throughout the 90s into the 2000s. And then they did Green Lantern Reborn. If you want to know the real origin of Parallax and how they brought back Hal Jordan. That was a good comic, and it was Jeff Johns, Ethan Van Sciver, and some others. And that told the story of what Parallax really was, and it was this alien creature that was basically the yellow impurity inside the power battery. It's been years since I've read it. Point being, Parallax wasn't just Hal Jordan being evil. So, in this, there's no Parallax. It's just the weaponers made this Yellow Lantern weapon for some reason. I don't know where they get that. They just pulled it out of their ass.
The perfect weapon, except for one flaw, you.
Well, yeah, the flaw in the flaw of any weapon, its user.
Yes.
And I like the weaponer, so that was pretty cool. But I don't know how they could make. I don't know how. In other words, them turning Sinestro into the Yellow Lantern that he becomes was really. That's. I don't know where the hell. I don't know why Bruce Timm knows better. Ugh.
Well, they never explained like the fear or the light or none of that is in this movie. That's the one thing that threw me was I keep expecting like how to say the oath and that to change something or Sinestro talking about fear. Something, paralyzing you with fear, paralyzing the lanterns with fear, and he doesn't do any of that.
I think the story would have been better served if you're going to show his quote unquote first flight, show his early training days. You don't really have him being trained by Sinestro and make it a slow progression to the end where he finally is forced to turn on Sinestro because Sinestro and he were actually friends for a good while. And Sinestro, as brutal as he is, it also kind of broke his heart that Hal had to turn on him. And that's what he ended up hating him so much. None of that nuance to the characters is there because they had an hour and some change to tell their story. It's a very short movie. But
he
good.
Wanted Hal to be on his side.
Oh, he wanted, yeah. I mean, in this, they kind of this they don't really go into it. And by the way, what they did to Boudica, I don't know. But I don't know how Arissa's there. She's supposed to be like very young, and she in fact, we ought to review Emerald Knights next.
Yes, let's do Emerald Knights next.
She's a newbie in that, and Hal's a pro. Hal's a seasoned pro at that point. So, but in this, she's there before Hal Jordan. Wow, I know that's geek stuff. I don't want to destroy anyone's reason for liking the movie. I'll still enjoy the movie. What's that?
Oh, that's me clicking away on my keyboard.
I got you.
I'm pulling up the cast because that is one thing I wanted to talk about was the cast. You've got a good cast here.
I wasn't too big on the guy doing Christopher Maloney. He's a good actor, but as Hal Jordan, he was just sort of generic. You've
got Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm's in this.
He always does a voice. Like
Trisha Helfer.
Yes. Boudica. She's fantastic. Victor Garber's greatest Sinestro.
Yes. Michael Madsen is Kilowog, dude. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love Kilowog. I love the character Kilowog so much. He's probably one of the best things in this.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
He is one of the best parts of this. John Larroquette. He's from what was it?
Night Court.
Night Court.
He played Tomar Ray. What? Oh my God! They killed Tomar Ray. He's one of my favorite Green Lanterns, and then Sinestro just murdered him. I'm like, why is he's not supposed to die? What the? See, they don't even care because I think he's in Emerald Knights if I remember.
He
I'm
is.
gonna watch it again.
He is.
That's
Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
That's
And you hear him and that you can't miss that.
Oh, you can't miss him. And yes, he's Kanjuro, and he doesn't look anything. He looks like a very weird version of him. But I mean, if you don't care about any of that silly geek stuff that you shouldn't, I should be ashamed of myself for caring about. To be honest, it's a pretty entertaining film, and I do recommend if you don't care about that kind of stuff to watch it.
Mark Damplin Tart says Blackest Night was one of my favorite Green Lantern crossovers.
I bought every one of the crossovers for that. And before that, though, I really liked the Sinestro Corps War. Blackest Night, I bought it all. It was okay. Then Brightest Day was bad. And we have a question here.
Clobberin time. Opinion of the 3D Green Lantern show on Cartoon Network.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Love it. And it makes me so sad there are only 26 episodes. That was great.
I never understand why when they have something going that good, they never keep going. It's like, oh, well, we'll keep going with all this crap we've got, but we won't keep going with the good things we come out with.
Absolutely. And I didn't think I would like it. I prefer if they asked me what I want, I would have said, well, I'd rather this be just standard, traditional 2D animation. I watch it, and even today, I'm like, it takes me a second, even when I go back and watch that, which I have a few times. I go, I don't know about the 3D animation, but I get used to it and it's fine because it's so good. It's such a good story. I mean, again, even though you're going, wow, they're kind of going on special missions, Kilowog's on it, but even that is just yeah, I dearly love that Green Lantern show, and it's a crime that we only got 26 episodes.
That's right. And Dega says, I don't care what you guys think. I love the show. Dega, I really like this movie. I do. If I didn't, I wasn't going to be watching it again, because I am going to watch it again. I just think things are missing. And like Clobby said, some things were changed that you got to like be like, why did y'all change that? Why did you do that?
Sorry to be a wet blanket, Dega, but that's okay. You can cancel me. No, look, I've fully admitted up front. That's me being a ridiculous Green Lantern geek who I'll put up with some things, but an animation doesn't really need to change as much, and I just think that was a shame.
Cal says, it's not that I don't care about the geek stuff, Clobby, but I guess I enjoyed this film because I'm not as well versed in the Green Lantern mythos as I am with the other characters.
That's fair enough. And Cal's my buddy there. Good to see you, Cal.
And that I see exactly where you're coming from, because when it comes to Green Lantern, I am a casual Green Lantern fan. I always was like, okay, Superman, Superman. As far as DC goes, Superman was always my favorite character. I like Flash. I really like Batman. Green Lantern is one of those. It's like I almost wish we got more of him in like real movies when I was a kid, because we didn't, and he wasn't one of the. It's not a childhood comic. I'm not a childhood comic fan. No. I got Green Lantern when I grew up. So it was like I got into Green Lantern later. Besides, if there was something I read in like Justice League or something, I always thought it was really cool at the end of the rebirth of Superman stuff that Hal comes in and saves everybody and is like, what the hell's going on? Who the hell destroyed Coast City?
They ruined Hal for like 10 decade. DC, I mean, I didn't think they could treat any character worse than they did Barry Allen than what they did to Hal. Not only making him a horrible murderer, then they turned him into the Spectre. I was so mad at DC. I just hated him for it. But yeah, look, again, I don't think people should sweat all that stuff I'm saying either. By the way, I like things in this movie as well. The characterization of Hal, I mean, the voice guys are sort of there, but the characterization and the portrayal of Hal is spot on. Some of the dialogue is weird. Like, I'm not so sure a Guardian of the Universe would say something like hell. They were really kind of weird, but they had voices by some classic old actors for the Guardians. They had Larry Drake, William Shallert, Malachi Throne, which I thought was pretty cool. Some old time actors, Richard McGonagall or whatever, and yeah. So I don't know, pretty good voice cast for the most part. They always, again, it gets better with Nathan Fillion as Hal.
Yes, it does.
Still, Andre Romano's usually really good at casting voices.
Real Wade Nation asks, Loki, did you like the AI ship and the 3D cartoon getting a ring too? What did you think, Clobby?
It was kind of weird. Aya took getting used to for me, but I ended up liking her. They ended up look, Razor, I didn't like at first, and the Red Lantern, but I think they ended up doing a good job with Razor and Aya, so I thought it was okay. I mean, but it was kind of a strange thing.
You did not like the Red Lanterns?
Oh yes, I liked Atrocitus. I love Atrocitus.
Atrocitus.
My favorite is Larfleeze, though, the Orange Lanterns.
The kitty cat. Atrocitus had that damn cat. What the was that damn
cat? Yeah. Can't remember his name. There was a great episode of the underrated show Justice League Action where that cat showed up to the Justice League headquarters while they were going, and Crypto and the pets had to fight him. That was pretty cool.
Dag Outlaw says not enough Blue Lanterns.
No, but they are in the aforementioned 3D animated show though.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How did you feel when they brought Hal before the council and they were like treating him like crap?
I actually kind of like that stuff because that's exactly the kind of, he had a very, as you should say, adversarial relationship with the Guardians all the time. He stood up to him and told them to go screw themselves more than once. And there's these omnipotent. That's one of the things that make Hal Jordan Hal Jordan. He did not play. If he didn't think they were right, now he wasn't like Sinestro who was going to turn evil, but he argued with them and bickered with them, and he talked. I mean, he talked crap to him all the time. And so I actually kind of liked some of that stuff, the way he just didn't care. Again, the characterization of Hal was spot on.
So them treating him like he was just basically beneath him, not more, even Sinestro and the rest of the Lanterns, even Kilowog treated him like, who is this runt who has that ring? You don't deserve a ring. Get the hell out of here. Did none of them realize the ring picks its user? If he wasn't worthy and noble, he wouldn't have it.
Well, that's what Ganthet pointed out. So, hey, look, there's no power in the universe that could put that ring on his finger if it didn't choose him.
That's right.
So, which makes you wonder about the consistency of some of the rings, because shouldn't that mean if Sinestro or another Green Lantern's going bad and turncoat, that the ring would know it and so you're not worthy anymore? But,
you would think that. You would think that the ring would just be like, no, but is its job over as soon as it picks the lantern?
It's controlled by the lantern. But I was just kind of halfway kidding there, but yes. But they're snobs. They're the guardians of the universe. They're very regal. And at the time, it wasn't expected to pick a human. Humans they usually pick beings from closer to spacefaring races and stuff. But again, as we know, Abin Sur ended up on Earth. Now, again, I don't like the circumstances that he ended up on Earth. It was so much better in the comics. I know, boo-hoo, geek, don't complain about comics. But I don't like the way they handled that either in this, or the way they made his face look weird. But that's geek stuff.
What about them? What about basically the explosion after he got the ring?
What do you mean? When they blew up when the ship blew up?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was that makes sense. Yeah, that was kind of part of it. He had the ship ready to blow up, and I don't know what he ended up doing with his remains because they didn't show it.
And I actually like that in the movie when the live action movie. Yes, I do kind of have a soft spot for Green Lantern, the director's cut. I like the extended edition more than I like the regular one. But right. I like the fact that he buried him. That he thought enough of him to bury him.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No. And they, like I said, I guess I don't know how much time passed between him getting the ring and then the others showing up, but it's neither here nor there, of course. He was already using the ring and learning it. He kind of adapted very quickly, but I like that about Hal Jordan. Yeah,
he figured it out. He figured out how to use the ring.
Yeah, he's arrogant. Hal Jordan's arrogant and fearless.
That's right. I thought they underpowered him in the original, in the live action. I keep saying original. This was
the movie. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that movie. I went after I saw it at the theater the first time. I never watched it again until about a year or so ago, because Ash was bugging us to all watch it. I did a Green Lantern roundtable, two parts, in fact, 2 different weeks in a row on the Global Geek Gang. The second we had R&B on there, and Ash, Ash loves that movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And so he made this big old, we let everybody have a different say and stuff. He did a big old production number about how he's going to convince us that how good the movie is. And I'm like, dude, you can do what you want, but I mean, and I said, you know what, Ash? I tell you what, I haven't watched that movie about 10 years. You've talked me into, I'm going to go watch it again just for you. So I did. And maybe it's because a lot of crap had been out. I watched it and go, maybe I don't hate it as much, but no, there's got so many bad things in it.
Yes, so and that was the very best part of Deadpool 2. When Ryan Reynolds went back in time, when Deadpool went back in times and shot Ryan Reynolds when he got the part for Green Lantern. Yes, because that look on Ryan Reynolds' face, like, oh my God, as he's like looking at the Green Lantern script and then he gets shot in the head. Oh, I couldn't stop laughing.
Yes.
I'm surprised your head didn't explode when you walked out of that movie.
Oh, I was pretty upset. A friend of mine that we went, And when we went to it, this was 2010, right?
Yeah.
He had said, and of course, he's even older than me, and that's old, He said, I've been waiting for this movie since I was 8 years old because he's loved, Green Lantern since he was a kid, as I have. And I'm going, when you put it that way, I've been waiting for this all my life. I don't know why, by the way. That's 5 podcasts, but I don't know why. But why we care that our characters get adapted into movies, but for some reason we do. And that was one that, I waited a long time to see it. And it's like, wow, that's such a disappointment. Hey, Blackest Night.
Says, hey, Clobberin time. It's crime shame we'll never get another on-screen adaptation of GL because studios are afraid. I would have liked to see Tom Cruise do it.
What are you trying to make me, Earl? So you're deliberately trying to keep me from going to see it, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I mean, with the recent release of Top Gun, I could see Tom Cruise playing a test fighter pilot, Hal Jordan.
You just saved me $20. Look, if he's in a movie, I won't be. That's why I was sweating it right up before Iron Man finally got announced to be RDJ back when. There was threats of Tom Cruise. And like, wow, they're gonna make. I won't be able to go see it. If he's in a movie, I don't go see it.
No, it's not. It wouldn't have been the same.
No, but there were threats of that, and I'm like, So, yeah.
Mark the Imply Tire makes a good point. A young Avery Brooks as Jon Stewart would have been Money in the Bank.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the Hawk.
See, Jon Stewart's best characterization. Look, in comics, I mean, he was there a little bit, kind of as a stand-in. He got like one or two. I think he got like a mini series, but I really loved him on the Justice League cartoon, even though I don't like the reason they put him in there. And that's his best characterization I've ever seen for Jon Stewart, was on that show.
Yeah. Mark D with a C. Yeah, everyone. My friends are still pissed at me for taking them to the Green Lantern movie on my birthday. Too bad I didn't know Ash back then. At least he wouldn't have minded.
Yes, he's told me that story a few times where, they were like, dude, this movie, have you ever been there? Like, you bring people to see a movie that you liked, or even if you didn't like it, you just brought them and they blame you. Like, if it sucked, I'm like, hey, man, I didn't make the movie.
What do you think about Dennis Quaid?
Hear me out. The Hal Jordan. I mean, a younger Dennis Quaid, it would have been okay.
Yeah, like, what's that? Inner Space Dennis Quaid? I could totally see that.
Look, Ryan Reynolds, I thought was a good casting. It wasn't his fault that the movie was poo-poo.
No.
That was filmed down here, by the way.
It was.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Sure Dig Outlaw, Val Kilmer would have made an amazing Hal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He got made Batman. He wasn't an amazing Batman.
No, because he wouldn't even dye his hair black, the dumbass. Blonde Bruce Wayne doesn't fly with me. They seem like trivial, but.
Or Michael Biehn.
Yeah. I thought that might be okay. Yeah, talking some older actors, of course, but yeah, Hal's a tough one. But who else would be good? Hal? I don't know. Now I don't know who would be now. But even if I didn't hate Cruise, he would be way too old. I mean, Hal needs to be, in his 30s, late 20s or something.
Unless he played an old Hal.
I don't need that. I don't put that in my life. I don't need that. So I need a Hal. But, again, what I've decided? Look, I've been talking about this a lot lately. I'm so sick of live action superhero stuff now because they do too much. If they would just make animated ones for me, I'd make a deal with them. I'd say, look, you guys, if you do the animated ones right, I'll shut up, never say another word about a live action superhero movie. You won't hear a peep out of me. Animation's better anyway. Animation is more like comic books anyway. And I know these are movie characters now. I'm a comics fan. I love comic books first.
Yeah.
Then, when it comes to these characters.
Then animation.
Yeah.
There are a few exceptions to that rule. Like Christopher Reeves as Superman. I completely agree with you. Comics and animation.
Sir.
I was a Wolverine fan at one point. I wasn't really an X-Men fan, but I was a Wolverine fan. And then I saw the Fox cartoon X-Men, and that made me have a better appreciation for the comic book. So I started reading X-Men comic books more instead of just Wolverine comic books.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then you got Hugh Jackman, who it's funny how didn't really fit the size profile or anything, but still was so good. He was 10 times better than any movie he was in.
God, what was? Because I remember making fun of that. Give me just a second. I gotta find the movie that because I made a comment. I was like, the guy that's in this. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can find this movie because I remember I was just like, no.
Chris Pratt is a good choice. Cal, that's good. That's a good one for Al. I think that works.
And they're not all here. He was like a 16th century Frenchman. I can't remember what the. I can't find them all.
You mean like a movie he was in?
Let me see if I can find. He was in
Kate and Leopold?
Kate and Leopold. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, the guy that was in that. No effing way is that going to be Wolverine.
X-Men?
If it wasn't that, it was something similar where he was in like a love story.
Yeah, that was definitely Kate and Leopold with what's her name? Was it Meg Ryan or something? Or no? Was
it
Meg
might
Ryan?
have been.
I can't remember, but yeah, I know of the film. I just don't know if it was before or after X-Men. I think it was after it, but well, this is the guy that does musicals, dude.
Yeah,
he does the fabulous type. You know what I'm saying? Musical character. You go, that's Wolverine. Wow, but it shows what a versatile actor he is. And again, he looks nothing like the character from the comic, but people just accept it because he's so good, and that's fine.
No, Kate and Leopold was after. Kate and Leopold was 1 year after X-Men. Wasn't that? Maybe it was Oklahoma. I don't know. God, I don't remember what it was, but I remember not that guy. I remember going, not fucking that guy. There's no way. And then he did it, and I was like, no, this is perfect.
Yeah,
this is absolutely perfect.
There's no way they were going to find someone to be the runt Wolverine, like the little, small one.
Oh no, and then that was the thing. Wolverine's like what 5'5"?
He's really short. Yeah,
5'6", something, but he weighs like 300 pounds.
Yeah, they were just not gonna at that time translate that to film.
And it's all muscle because he's carrying around the skeleton, the adamantium skeleton. So he's like carrying around all that weight. So he's almost solid muscle. Yeah.
Yep. Mark D with C and I just recently, and LT, we reviewed the Frank Miller, Chris Claremont Wolverine miniseries from the early '80s, the seminal Wolverine comic. Because it's after he got his little audition in that X-Men issue 133, whatever it was, where Wolverine alone when he fought the Hellfire Club. When he got that comic, it was just out of this world. I was running the shop. We saw it was amazing. And that's because Wolverine, that's what launched Wolverine into the stratosphere as a popular character. Yeah, I heard about that. Tom Cruise would have been perfect. He's a runt. Yeah, but he's not a cool runt. He's a piece of, never mind.
He'd need to be really, but no. There's no denying Hugh Jackman was a giant as Wolverine.
Yeah,
absolutely, positively. I can't remember whether it was the second movie. It's when he jumped out of the water and caught all that shit up. I'm like, God, he's huge. What have you been doing? Oh, I've been taking steroids and eating nothing but fish and water for the past 3 months. I'm like, wow. Damn.
Amazing.
Juicing and fish and water.
Yep. Green Lantern, again, with his power, again, I thought in a good movie, Ryan Reynolds would have been terrific. I think people rag on him too much, but that's one of the coolest, most science fiction-esque origins of any thing in comics ever is the Green Lantern Corps, revamped origin. In other words, because when he started out, it was a magic lamp he found in the Golden Age.
Yes, it was a magic lamp, and that's how he charged his ring. Was from the magic lamp.
Now, there's some derivative similarities to that in the E.C. Doc Smith Lensman novels. But still, Julius Schwartz comes along in the 50s, for Green Lantern. And he had been, when he took over as an editor at DC, this is a guy who had been a literary agent for the likes of Ray Bradbury and Alfred Bester and people like that. And he was a big science fiction guy. and he thought he didn't like some of the quote unquote silly origins of the Golden Age. Not me, I love him, but so he thought this would be a more science fiction um, origin. So the coming up, John Brome, Gil Kane came up with the concept of the Green Lantern Corps is just some of the greatest world building science fiction in all of comics, and I love it dearly.
Is that what drew you? Is that what drew you to Lantern?
Yeah, the concept. Think of how cool the power is. For one thing, you put this ring on, you create concepts out of your will. Constructs out of your will, force fields that are powerful enough to deflect just about anything. You can fly at warp speeds through space anywhere you go, and have force bubbles. You can lift almost Superman level strength with your power, with your construct ability if you're powerful enough and imaginative enough. It's one of the coolest quote unquote superpowers, and yet it's based in, yes, it's science fantasy, but it's not based in being bitten by anything radioactive or from another planet with a different type of sun or any of that, or an experiment or a gamma radiation, that kind of stuff. You have it's sort of like the Time Lords in Doctor Who. You accept that they're thousands and thousands of years ahead of us scientifically, so a TARDIS can do all those magical things. The Guardians are arguably some of the first beings in the known universe. So they found the power battery and the power of will, and they're able to empower these Green Lantern Corps members. And again, a Green Lantern is someone who's pretty darn powerful.
And you have to be worthy.
You have to be worthy. And it's just brilliant a concept.
Mark asks, opinion of JSA, GL, Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
I love Alan Scott. I love the JSA, of course. I'm a big fan of him. They later kind of retconned his origin back into the Green Lantern Corps as well. When before he just found this magic lantern, and they thought his power was magic. Turned out it was a lantern that had been left by a Green Lantern. It was actually from the Guardians of Oa. But anyway, I love Alan Scott's one of my favorite characters. I love the Golden Age guys, and
they retconned him recently, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, they've dumped all over him. It's horrible. What DC Comics has done to Alan Scott, the Golden Age version of him, is a disgrace. I hate him, what they've done. And what D Nice Gamer said, yep, your weakness is the color yellow. Original, but not really anymore, though. Remember, they got rid of that.
Fear.
And then, yes, Fear. I love the Sinestro Corps War. Did you ever read that?
I did. I also love the war they have, and I know you haven't read this because you don't like them. The alternate universe one with the evil Superman. God, I can't think of the name of it right now.
You mean that Injustice scribble?
Okay, in the Injustice books, they have a kick-ass fight. And I absolutely love seeing Sinister Corps versus Green Lanterns. The only problem is Hal's a Sinister Corps. So, and Hal kills Guy Gardner. It's either Guy Gardner or John Stewart. I can't remember. It's one of those. It's really weird, but absolutely awesome battle. And Superman takes out Oa.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't seen that one, but that's
Injustice.
Is that a game
or
something?
No, it's in the actual Injustice books. I can't remember what year it is. I've got like 10 volumes of the Injustice, 10 different volumes, and then I just stopped reading it. I was like, okay, I'm done. But it was in one of those where Sinestro Corps comes to save Hal and Superman, because they want Hal, the Lantern Corps wants Hal to go back and answer for the nasty shit he's done with Superman. And they're like, no. And the Sinister Corps show up and help them out and make Green Lantern one of them and give Superman a yellow ring. And Hal Jordan ends up killing, I can't remember whether it was Guy Gardner or John Stewart. He kills one of them and eventually has to answer to the council for what he does. But it was a kick-ass battle. It was one of the best comic book battles I've read in a really long time. But I mean, hundreds of Sinestro Corps versus the Green Lanterns, and Superman destroys Oa. He literally like flies through the planet and breaks it.
Wow. Damn. Yikes. You said that's the game, not the comic. It's the comic.
No, that's the comic, not the game. Okay. I actually liked the comic for a while. I really liked the comic. It just ended up getting old. I got tired of reading about evil Superman doing evil things.
Yeah, you know how I'm about that.
I know. And it just becomes, okay, it's more of the same. What are they going to do now? How are they going to do this? Why is Wonder Woman like, you must kill them all, Kal-El? That's what I absolutely hated about the movie, is that Wonder Woman's like pushing him, do more evil things, be more evil, Cal. And then he does some evil shit, and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And I'm like, what the hell? You guys totally backed off on that. Wonder Woman was straight up evil in Injustice in the books. She is evil. She is the one that's like, no, Cal, you have to punish the human beings. The human beings are evil. Punish the human beings, Cal. And in that animated movie, they just kind of dropped the ball. Seriously, the Green Lantern part wasn't in there, and they just messed up that animated movie. But the books are. I enjoyed reading the books. I really did, and it wasn't just, well, here's a bad Superman. It was. They really put a lot of thought into that story, and for a while they did a really good job. They brought Constantine in, and they were gonna bring Lois back to try and there's so many little things that they did in those books that were pretty. I thought that was a pretty interesting story. But then you just get tired of reading about bad Superman, and that's the thing.
I do too.
So
I do too. Yeah. I think that we had somebody was asking a question about was it Chris or something asking a question about, hey, Sherry, look, the lovely Sherry's here. Wow.
Hello, Sherry.
Something about Alan Scott's weakness to wood or something. I think I saw it up there.
Was her weakness to wood as well? Wow, so no snoo for her. Weakness is as bad as Power Girl's weakness?
He asked something about why did they ever explain why his weakness to Alan Scott's weakness to wood? He is weak. His Green Lantern. His ring won't work on wood.
Yes.
Things. The original meteor that landed, that was originally a Green Lantern power battery. This is, of course, remember, retconned later into the Green Lantern mythos. So in other words, his power does come from Oa, just like Hal's. Just that he thought it was just some kind of magic lantern that gave him his powers. There you go.
Sorry, guys. I'm having a real hard time seeing tonight.
That's cool.
Go ahead, Clobby.
So as you can say, he basically they tried to. The only explanation that was given that most have ever seen was something along the lines of the Guardians. There was a contingency plan built into the battery that had various mental abilities in case. Because they couldn't vet someone getting a hold of a power battery or a ring that they didn't know who it was. It would give them certain limitations, and in this case, since it landed, it gave them the limitation of being able to use it against wood. It was something inert. It was the Guardians that planted it in there, in his power battery. And that's, again, it's been a long time since I read that story. You could probably look it up somewhere and find out that have a better explanation, but that's somewhere along those lines. That the Guardians, it's like inherent in the battery for a defective power battery.
Awesome one said that must be so Swamp Thing could defeat him if he ever became overpowered.
There you go. I like that one better. But yeah.
Blackest Night. We could talk about weakness all day, but ultimately it doesn't matter because the true purpose of a Green Lantern is to overcome whatever it is.
That's exactly right. And I love that. There was a really great Justice Society series in the early 90s that I loved by Lynn Straczynski and Mike Paradek back. It only lasted like 10 issues where Alan Scott, this was during around Guy Gardner's really obnoxious era.
Where he had the gold ring.
We had we had a fight.
Yeah.
He got into it with Alan Scott, and Alan Scott wiped the floor with him.
Yep, he got into
Kicked
it
his
with one of the super. It was the last son of Krypton during the death of Superman. He got into it with him, and he beat the living hell out of Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner. Wow. Yep. But and it was kind of funny. Guy Gardner was kind of funny on that episode of the Green Lantern series. Remember, he was on an episode of the one we were talking about, the TV series.
Yes.
Yeah. But First Flight should have been longer. I think that's probably its biggest problem. Other than some of the scripting problems that I didn't like, I think it probably should. It seems long, but it's very short, isn't it? I mean,
it is. It's only an hour and 17 minutes long.
Yeah. I thought it felt kind of short.
Bill McCracken asks, how the hell do I keep ending up here? Oh my God. I'm too damn good for this channel. Damn it, YouTube. Bill a booty. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No, I think a lot of the movies are like that. A lot of the DC movies, a lot of the
Right.
DC animated universe it's just too short. And then we get something that could really, really be good, like, let's say, The Long Halloween. And then the second part completely
ruin it.
blows ass because they ruin it.
Yes, and again, it's feast or famine, because you've got exactly what you talked about. You've got that one, which is 2 parts, and as bad as they screwed it up, may as well have been none. And then you got something. I loved All-Star Superman, the comic, and I love the movie, but the movie was so abbreviated from what the comic was. That should have been 2 parts.
Yes.
First Flight could have been 2 parts, for I'm concerned. I mean, it's him just starting out. You need a lot more time for him to get going, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. And a lot of that was skipped. And you don't even know, like you said, how much time between when he gets the ring and when they show up to take him.
Right. It doesn't seem like there's that much, which is that part's kind of okay. But I would have thought, again, obviously, I know they had to get to their story. You could have easily, you know how they do it all the time. They do time shifts all the time in movies or TV. They could have jumped ahead to a couple of months where he's been training with Sinestro for 5-6 months or something like that.
Oh, shit. That one's for you. I'm not reading that.
Mark, that doesn't upset me. It just disappoints me. Just a little. I'm a little disappointed in you, Mark. I hate Fleshpoint Paradox, but I mean, I understand where I'm in the wilderness on that, buddy. I hate it with a passion.
I don't like Barry's mom getting killed.
I'm so sick of Barry's mom, and that didn't even the first place where it happened. That's another one right there. I'm so sick of what they did to Barry. He was one of the few heroes that didn't have a tragic, stupid backstory. Everything's got to be tragic backstory. Like, so the parent, not just, parents just normally like passing or something, but they had to be murdered by some villain or some kind of horse crap. Hey, Parrothead.
What up, Parrothead?
Jim's talk. Look at those Gap Stargate. A lot of great people here. Yeah, and that what they did to Barry Allen's mother, and that wasn't Flashpoint that did that though. That was I forgot which goober. It was either Mark Waid or Jeff Johns, one of those imbeciles who gave him a tragic backstory where it was before you didn't know anything about his mom.
Yep.
And now his mom was murdered and his dad was framed for it and all that kind of crap. Oh, I hate it.
Why couldn't it be Iris from the TV show that got killed by Reverse Flash? That is a good question.
Yes. That first that comic where Iris was first murdered, man, dude, it was freaky. But I bought, there was Flash 276, I think. Don't quote me on that. It might be 275 right there. So I remember I bought the comic, and I guess I was in a hurry because I always bought Flash off the spinner rack. I get home and I open it up, and on the cover, I'll never forget, it's Flash and Iris, but she's dressed as Batgirl. They're at a costume party, right?
Right.
So I get home and I open the comic book. You know what's in there? Marvel Tales number 104 with Spider-Man. Because that was when Marvel and DC were all printing at the same place. They had the wrong cover on my damn comic book.
That's crazy.
And I remember going back to the store to get, the Flash, and I didn't find any other ones like that, so I got it. And of course, I couldn't believe it. By the end of the comic, I said, "No, she's not really dead." Because I like this Iris, not like that stupid one on the TV show. And I was like, no, 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 no. But man, right after that, dude, they tortured Barry Allen, poor old Barry Allen in his comic, accused him of the murder of his wife, had him run around, as a fugitive all the time. It was horrible.
Yeah. No, and then there's no point in any of that.
Hated it. Poor old Barry.
Chris Burgess says, you're not the Flash, Barry. We are.
Ugh.
They are Team Flash.
Let's all stand around in the hallway and talk about it.
Feelings in hallways.
I was dumb enough to watch the first 2 seasons of that show, and then when I started out the 3rd season, I thought it was gonna be Flashpoint. I was like, bye bye.
Savitar.
I don't know why I watched this. Sucks.
I don't know why you did that.
Shows are trash.
I don't know why you did that. Even what's his name in that? The Guy Gardner. Even Guy Gardner was like, Barry, I don't know why you did this. I don't know, Guy, because I'm an idiot.
Wait a minute. He was on that show?
Guy Gardner? Not Guy Gardner. Oh my God. Jay Garrett. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, Jay Garrick in that first, it was either the first or the second episode of season 3 was like, why the hell did you do this? I don't know.
Oh my God. That show, to hell, what a waste of time. I actually watched the first season and the first few episodes of the second season of Supergirl, and I did the same thing with Legends of Tomorrow. Talk about a lot of time I'll never get back.
I couldn't do Legends. I couldn't do Legends because of Butthole Chin. Butthole Chin kept me from watching Legends. Butthole Chin, White Canary.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, she was on there, I guess.
Yeah, if you look at her, she's got a butthole for a chin. I could not stand her in Arrow. I was like, oh my God, why are you? Because they had this one girl in season 1 that played her, and that is not who came up and played her. Later. And I was like, why do you have, and she talks like this and she's got a butthole chin. And I was like, wow, no, what are you doing? You miscast. And then they gave her own show and it was like lesbians in space. And I was like, no, sorry. So you lost me.
All the time.
And then she banged the chick from Supergirl. And I was like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Sorry.
It was bad, man. And I watched, I don't know why I stayed with it. It was out of habit. I was back. We would talk about it a little bit on my show back then. And I was like, every episode, I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. Why am I watching the next one? Why am I watching the next one? One day it just snapped and I got out of there.
And the only thing I ended up watching was the crossovers because I usually like the crossovers, but And then they did that shit with Bruce Wayne, and I was like, nope, I'm out.
I couldn't watch that. I heard too many bad things about it, and everyone's, at first everyone was really excited. Then they do all that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, and the way they find out is he's got like a curio cabinet with Clark's glasses that are like smashed in the cabinet. He's like, I killed Superman. And you're like, what in the fuck? No, this is supposed to be animated Batman. This is supposed to be animated Batman, the animated series Batman, Kevin Conroy live action. No, I killed Superman. I was like, no, nope. They cut Kevin Conroy in Crisis. And see, I had heard that there were people that turned down roles to come back because they would not tell them anything. They were like, well, I need a script. No, you're not getting a script. Well, then I'm not. Okay. You got to decide right now on the phone. We're not going to tell you how much money we're going to give you. We're not going to tell you anything about the script. You got to decide right now you're in or out. No. I would have said no too. What's his name from Smallville said no. The guy who played Lex.
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum was like, no. He goes, I told him I'm sorry. No, they wanted him to come back. And he said, well, what is the script? And how much money are you going to pay me? And they said, well, we don't have a script. We can't give you a script right now. And we're not sure yet how much we're going to pay you. And he was like, well, call me when you do. And they said, no, you got to decide right now. And he said, well, then no.
Good man.
I won't do it.
Good. Screw them.
That's right.
Just garbage. Well, and now they're dead, right? Then they go out of.
Now they go out of business.
But isn't it? Well, who is Straczynski making his terrible, scary Babylon 5 remake for? If they're going out of business, then
I don't know.
because that scares the hell out of me, right there. It doesn't really, because I want to go watch it anyway. But
No. I
Garbage.
get. Yeah, it's all crap. It's absolute crap.
so yeah, man, I don't know.
What would you give this? What would you give this movie?
I would give it on our 1 to 10 scale. I would definitely give it about I'd go about a 6.5. I would say, because I did like a lot of things in it, and I just overall, there were things that baffled me that they put in there. Some of the clunky writing, but that's just for Clobby being a fanboy. I still think that if you haven't seen this and you do like animated superhero films, I think people. I definitely if it's above anything above a 6 for me is a recommendation to check it out if you can.
I'd give it a 7. I think it's better than the cut version, theatrical version of the live action movie.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
But I wish we had more. I wish we had more.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of this movie, because there's so much they didn't explain. There's so much they didn't talk about. You never get the oath like you should get the oath. I mean, when he's down there with the broken lantern and he puts his ring up against the crystal, he should have been saying the oath,
Indeed.
And they just skip over all of that, and they don't do any of that. And I didn't like that. And you're going to lose some points from me for not explaining things, but a lot of the animation in this is beautiful, guys.
Yeah, the animation's good. Good animation.
The animation is really good. There's some pew 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 battles that you're just like, damn, this looks good, especially if you got watching on a big TV.
All of the house stuff. In fact, the house stuff is the highest. It's the majority of my rating. Because even though his voice is just sort of there, the way he's written and the way he's got a lot of cool scenes. Even when he gets to shine by himself, a couple of different segments when he's young newbie Hal, but he's still a badass and he's still great at stuff. So Hal's my favorite thing about this, which of course makes sense, really.
Yeah. So that's our score, guys. That's our review. Yeah. We've talked about the movie. We've talked about a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
You want to do Emerald Knights next?
I'd love to, if you do. I mean,
we'll stay on a Green Lantern kick, guys. Yeah, next month we're going to talk Emerald Knights.
Yes.
If you want to watch it before we do. Watch it while we're doing the review. Watch it after. Watch it whenever you want to. Wait for us to give you a score, or just jump in head first and do it with us. Cal-El gives an 8 out of 10. Oh, excuse me.
Cal. Cool. I hear you. I don't blame you at all. I got you. Look,
story should have been fleshed out more. Yeah.
Look, this review, by the way, when I first watched it way back when it first came out, I was pissed on it. I hated it. I was mad at it. This is actually a step up. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of water under the bridge. In 2009, when it came out, first time I watched it, I was furious about it. So I like it way better than I do now.
Do you think it's because we've had so much crap since then?
It could be, but I try not to let that get too much in my psyche. But yeah, I mean, you would think, but no, I think it's also because I got older and realized that it's just good to see anything with these characters again that even come close to looking right. Yeah, it's a few things maybe. I hate to say it was just because things are so freaking bad right now.
Kyle Rayner series. Thoughts?
Personally, Gap, I hate Kyle Rayner, so I wouldn't like it. Fans of the character that would be happy. That I say, good luck to you with it if they did it. But I'm not a fan. They are doing one, aren't they? Or no? No, it's going to be Jessica Cruz.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It'll be Jessica Cruz. Is Loki a Red Lantern? Yes. Rage, anger, hate. Yes. Oh yes.
Sure he's not
Burn
an
it
Orange
down.
Lantern? He's not an Orange Lantern.
What do you got coming up, brother?
Well, tomorrow night I'll be doing my usual, not much hanging out at the Wild Card Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, hanging out with you, my good friends who hang out with me and visit, and we'll talk comics and Star Trek and whatever else is going on there. It'll be something geekish, that it's like a wild card, so I never know for sure. Thursday night, my wonderful first officer, Raquel, and our great chief engineer, Mark D. with a C, will join me for Clobby's Clubhouse, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Saturday night Star Trek will be, oddly enough, on Saturday night. Same Trek time, same Trek channel, 9 p.m. Central. Having a great time with that. Getting great crowds there. It's amazing. A lot of fun reviewing all of real Star Trek there. And so that's pretty much what's going on right now. I'll probably review another. I reviewed a comic last night. So maybe next Monday night we'll review another comic. And you and I got to get together and review a comic soon. So that's pretty much what's going on. Oh,
heck yeah.
For a second?
Yep. No, my mic.
Gotcha.
My mic did a weirdo. Guys, there's a link in chat. That is to Snow Dub's almost to 1500 celebration. If you guys want to go check that out, I'm going to be heading over there in chat. I will be in chat. I'm not going to be on it, but I'm going to be hanging out in chat for the rest of the night. You guys know what I do. So Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Come hang out with us in the mornings. Wake up, have breakfast, drink your coffee, drive your car to work, whatever it is you do at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Come hang out. We would love to have you on. Until then, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. And I think we're out of here.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a great one.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.